Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 of this video series. Now, if you recall in part 1, we spent time getting to Astoria, then working on the boat, seeing the sights, and then we crossed the Columbia River Bar and then motored throughout the night. Here in part 2, we'll hole up in Coos Bay, Oregon for better weather, see some very interesting boats, and then sail most of the way to San Francisco where the bay had a blustery surprise for us. I'd gone off watch at 1 a.m., only to wake up at about 8 a.m. for some breakfast and coffee. Hey, I don't remember who made this, but you know, food always tastes better on a sailboat. Sand dunes. We thought they were fog. The Predict Wind app was showing some gale force winds moving in for a couple of days, so we decided to tuck into Coos Bay and ride it out until the storm moved out of the area. The bar crossing here is much easier than the Columbia River Bar because it's regularly dredged. People all the way to Coos Bay.
Cross the bar at Coos.
Indeed we had, Captain Ron. You know, I've long heard about Coos Bay, but now I've actually been there. True to form, after arriving around noon, we spent time getting the boat organized and then were treated to a fine meal at a local eatery. Good thing, though, because the next day, the weather set in and we hunkered down. Today is a day off. It's pretty good winds out there. Fog is down to a water level. Coast Guard boat going out for some reason. And we're now up on the foredeck of Aileron. We got a leak in the dinghy, so before we get underway tomorrow, we're going to get that fixed so that we have a good lifeboat. There's a leak on that pontoon on the other side, so we're working on that right now. So the weather is socked in today, actually late yet in the day yesterday. This is supposed to blow over by about the time we leave at about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning on Monday. Now this is a hell of a sailboat. This is what's called a Point Blue 65 footer. Twin helms. The furling for the sail is an in-boom furling system, which I tend to like, but this thing is big. We just talked to the owner of it. He's either from Australia or England, mate. This is a beauty. You know, it was so windy in Coos Bay, I couldn't remember if this was lunch or dinner or if this was lunch or dinner. Either way, eat up, me hearties, for tomorrow we sail. I kid you not. We left Coos Bay at 9 a.m. and when this video was shot at 3 p.m., there was no wind, but the 2.5 meter swells from the storm were still there, but their wave periodicity was 8 seconds apart. Manageable. Okay, Tyler, what'd you call this?
Hainan chicken.
OMG.
It appears the winds have picked back up, but the swell is smaller. There's fog on the deck, but we'll be sailing soon. We have 12 knots of air. Yes. We have 10 knots of true. As they say in sailboat racing, now we're hauling the mail. A well-fed crew makes boat go fast. So friends, we're almost to San Francisco. This is the Point Bonita Lighthouse just north of San Francisco. And here's a look at everyone who was on board for this amazing journey. Emily and Tyler, our very own Captain Ron, and yours truly.
Like sheep of the family clan, broke too many rules along the way.
This is cool, people.
It does.
It's awesome. Not too many people gonna do this.
So far away from home. No, they'll never understand. No, they'll never understand. No, they'll never understand.
Sailing under the Golden Gate Bridge.
I was literally just saying, I'll give you some news. Yep. Of course, it's more music and it's there.
What do you think, Taco? Any other pictures anybody wants to get before we take the sails down?
Well, our youthful enthusiasm was short-lived because after sailing under the bridge in 15 knots of wind, the wind suddenly picked up to 30 to 35 knots and we found ourselves with a furling mainsail that just didn't want to furl. So after a series of crash tacks and crash jibes, I yelled out, "We need to get in the lee of Alcatraz Island so we can furl this damn thing." As you can see here, we did just that, but it took a few tries to get it furled, and then we turned our attention to actually getting into the harbor and finding our assigned slip. We'd had enough sailing excitement for one full day. have Ron and Alcatraz in the same video.
One of the few who escaped.
We stayed on board Wednesday night and got dropped off at the dock on Thursday morning.
Perfect.
Thanks. Welcome.
Thank you, Captain Ron.
See you guys.
See you.
Yeah.
Travels.
You too. Fair winds.
Emily and Tyler had a flight to catch to Seattle that morning, and I had one to catch to Juneau as well. Ciao.
Ciao.
We had little time to waste and caught an Uber to the airport, and as is typical, I had a long layover in Seattle, but otherwise my 1,500-mile flight back to Juneau was uneventful, which, after the events of the previous day, was a welcome respite. If you've liked this video, do give it a big Captain Ron thumbs up. Subscribe and turn on the notifications. My next video showcases a delivery of a 46-foot Katie Krogan powerboat from Juneau, Alaska, across the Gulf of Alaska and into Resurrection Bay, and finally to Valdez, Alaska, and also includes some world-class halibut fishing. Until then, my friends, sail fast and live slow.